Jinisha, a very warm welcome to Lucknow and to the Metaphor Lucknow Litfest. It
Thank
is a
you.
pleasure to host somebody who has invested into the city and who's trying to build a brand out of here which stands for progressive ideals, which stands for equality, and which is giving young women an opportunity to get involved in sports and grow. So, off the bat, I'd like to know how is it, like, when did you realize that you are going to be this deeply involved in sports, and especially women's sports?
I think it was the opportunities that came to us, and I think we took the right calls at the right time, and it's our privilege that we're here today, entering season 4 of UP Warriorz in the WPL. 3 years ago when we were starting to look at opportunities in sports, we had a blockbuster year of investments where we ended up acquiring 4 teams in the same year, right? And I think a lot of that was because there were multiple opportunities that had come our way that year, and we knew from the get go that we wanted to be a multi sport organization. In India, there are different cultures when it comes to sports, different interests, and there's no doubt that yes, cricket is one of the most popular and followed sport, but we're also invested in kabaddi and women's football. And we see that a lot more sports will continue to come into the ecosystem. I mean, more recently, pickleball, paddle, and other social sports. So the culture of sports in India is evolving. Um, Women's sports is one of those niches I think that is now starting to break into more mainstream arenas, and cricket is leading the charge on that. So women's cricket is the one that's now starting to knock on more doors and ask people to shift their opinions and their perspectives on the way that they assess the commercial viability of women's sports.
And speaking about commercial viability, sports now is not just sports, and players are not just players, they're also content creators, they're also brands. So, as a franchise owner, how do you deal with it? Do you think that makes your work more difficult, or does it make it easy because it's more marketable?
No, it I think it aids to the larger question, which is that everybody today is fighting for attention in a way, right? And um, for us, if the players themselves, their stories are marketed well and their stories reach different corners and pockets of India, makes our lives much easier because then we're not fighting to build them up. The World Cup, of course, lends itself to that storytelling where a lot more people have now started to look at women's cricket more seriously in India. Not that it wasn't serious before, but I think the win just suddenly adds that weightage that everybody was questioning that when are we going to win? And it is sport. So yes, performance is what leads the charge on that front, and the win has just added a lot more weightage where people are more curious now to learn about who these cricketers are and where they come from, how their journey started. So that's going to help in the storytelling even more as we go ahead.
And as a founder, how involved are you with the social media, with the content creation? Is it something that is on your daily to-do list, or do you prefer to be more, operations driven? How do you lead the charge?
I'm quite involved in all of the work that we do. I think when it comes to content, I don't look at it as just content. I think we're looking at how are we growing UP Warriors as a brand. Content in its own different formats is one aspect of growing the brand. What we do on ground in the in the state of UP and Lucknow being one of the cities where we're very actively working towards on ground activations. So there's multiple facets in which I'm involved. I do enjoy the content side of things. I think it's because it's also fleeting, right? Like I think every day you need to have a pulse on what's currently trending, because what's trending today is not going to be trending tomorrow. And with WPL currently the way that it is, it's just a 1 month long tournament. It will grow as more teams are added, but that means I only have one month, which is very important for us to build everything within that month. So we spend a lot of time working on what needs to be highlighted within that 1 month when the tournament is on. So quite involved in on all the different areas that will eventually lead to the growth of the brand.
And we hope that it continues growing the way it has, and you've taken charge so well. And at such a young age, you're handling a lot of responsibilities. What do you find the most challenging with building a team or building an ecosystem with multiple teams? what are the things that are your stressors that you wake up and you're like, ah.
Um, I would say, as we're even going into the fourth season of WPL, probably fandom is something that I think a lot about, because today the audience is very, very opinionated and has a lot of things to give its attention to give its time to give its energy to. How do we become one of those is something that I think a lot about. Sport, unlike other genres where you do have fandom, right? So you have the movie industry, you have books and authors, you have podcasts, you have multiple opportunities where a person decides that they are a fan of that format or of that person who's leading charge there. Sports just has so much deeper storytelling that it offers. You're learning about so many facets when it comes to hardships, nutrition. I think in India today the culture around fitness is changing, and I think sports has a huge opportunity there. But that fandom to build somebody who wants to learn everything about what your team does and what the athlete does, that's challenging. It's also a huge opportunity, and the reason that we are from the state of UP, the most populous state, I think that's a huge opportunity for us, and we need to find a way to make sure that everybody in this state knows that there is a very proud team that represents them at a huge platform. So that's probably a question that kind of keeps me up at night a lot, is that how do we make sure that we're able to reach to all the corners within UP and are able to build our brand here.
I'm sure you're going to do a great job at it, Jinisha. Would love to know if you are like, do you give speeches at times with the team before a match or before an important match? Do you go into the locker room and you're like, guys, let's do this? Or do you let it be? Do you let the coach take charge and you're never
Yeah.
in the picture?
I think the one space that I don't really get involved or don't want to be involved in is what happens on the field. We follow what most elite teams follow, which is that there are experts who know how to do the job. We have incredible coaches and support staff who have been brought on board to do that, and that's the and I'm actually learning so much from the coaches that we work with as well. So that's not a space I like to get involved in. I'm very hands-on and involved with the team outside of the field. We have some great times together. We organize lots of events for them, and like we hang out a lot. It's very, very I would say a lot of them, we end up having really great friendships even outside the field. But there's one thing that I don't like to discuss is cricket, because I am not an expert and I don't need to be giving them any advice. I think they know exactly what they need to do on the field. So I leave it to the coaches to kind of take that on. Yeah.
You're truly making sure that Lucknow and UP is one of the states which is doing something that is progressive, that is helping women get into spaces that are, stereotypically, reserved for men. And we're all very thankful to you for taking this step, for building this team, and
Thank you.
and we hope and we, wish you all the best that this year we bring home the cup.
No, thank you so much. Thank you.